definitely the decision to become as efficient as possible. I would time my showers. I time how fast I could pump the gas. I could tell someone behind me in line in the bathroom, I'm like, you are so lucky. It's your lucky day. I'm going to be in and out of here fast than any guy you've ever met. Like, so my need for efficiency was a major concern. And again, I attribute it to the rushing women syndrome. Trauma was a big part of it as well. You know, I had a pretty crazy childhood. And so a lot of that, I think that's where I got the downloads, the stories to continue to run at that pace for so long. And then lifestyle choices. You know, I was not eating the best. I was surviving off coffee and York peppermint patties to get through the day. I'm working super late at night, again, attributing to that root cause of just constantly go, go, go. And then also, I wasn't really mindful about the types of toxic makeup and personal care items, and just literally just kind of adding to the stressors that were going on, and all of that adds up. It's never just one thing, you know. It's always a multitude of things. And yes, there can be one primary thing that could really move the needle for you, but for me, I just needed to do a lot of cleanup and really focus on, like, girl, I thought self-care was the most selfish,
Right.
self-indulgent thing anyone could do. I'm just like balked at the idea of like self-care. And so, you know, focusing on my own priorities and my own needs. And that was one of the hardest things for me in general. Like, to say yes to me and to giving myself alone time, downtime, things that nourished me. You know, I worked out every day. I started eating really well every day, but those just felt like they were needed necessities. They didn't feel like this, like self-care. And so that was another big turning point for me, was bringing that in, and really recognizing, probably the big aha moment was, girl, I never thought I deserved it. Never
Mhm.
thought I deserved to be well, or to take care of myself, or to focus on me. So that shifting around deserving was a huge part of this beautiful journey.
Yep. I thought Manny and Petty was like, that's your self care. And didn't know it meant boundaries, how you view yourself, your worthiness, like how you show up for, all of these things. It's such an self care and self love is like such this massive, thing that I didn't grow up learning. My mom was like zero self care. So I learned at a young age as well. Was it adrenals plus a few things, or was it?
Yeah, basically, you know, in chronic fatigue or adrenal fatigue, ultimately, you know, and your adrenals take a major hit on all of that. But ultimately, you know, every single little cell inside of our body, most importantly, our brain and our ovaries, no wonder our reproductive system is usually one of the first signs that something isn't well or right. We have the majority of mitochondria inside of those cells, and our mitochondria are so sensitive. I'll tell you what, they do not appreciate a stressed person. They do not appreciate coffee or processed foods. They do not appreciate a lack of self-care. They do not appreciate you staying up at night in front of a computer screen. And so over time, they start to shut down. They go into like this stranger danger mode, this self-protective mode. And what ultimately you begin to experience, I know for me, usually women start to notice, you know, just a dip in energy. If you're trying to notice a dip in energy between 2 and 3 o'clock in the afternoon, that's the first sign that your body's telling you that we got to do something. We got to change it up, because your cells are basically on borrowed time. They don't have enough energy to sustain themselves. And so that was kind of the first. I operated with no energy between 2 and 5 o'clock for years, and I just tried to caffeinate it, you know, away. So those are one of the first signs, I think. So yeah, chronic fatigue, adrenal fatigue, same thing, but basically your mitochondria are in stranger danger mode.
For me, when I was going through that, I was like reaching for food and anything I could just to
Oh yeah.
get
Oh,
myself to function. And I didn't know what it was. Body inflammation, mental, emotional, like what else were you going through? Yeah.
absolutely. So let's say you are running a million, you know, miles an hour. Let's say you've got a to-do list that just goes into the next day, and you're noticing some hormonal changes. Your body knows it's not well resourced. That's just all there is to it. Like I always think about when I have cravings, and if ever I start to experience cravings, that is the aha moment, is that I'm running on fumes. Like I've got no energy in the tank. So I always ate because of a lack of energy. I was like, where? Because that's, if you're not getting enough sleep and you don't have enough energy to get through the day, your body's going to be like, in your brain in particular, is going to be like, could you feed me? Feed me something that's going to get me somewhere. Like, and so usually the things we're reaching for, frappuccinos, vanilla lattes from Starbucks, we're reaching for that kind bar, which is really just a candy bar. We're reaching for whatever we can use to get us through that next part of the day. And for women, I think of women as we break our days up really in 2 full days, right? You think about your first part of the day, morning to 5, and then you've got your second part of the day, because most women are going until like 11 o'clock at night. And so usually we're needing something to get us through that. And especially if you're late night snacking, that's often, again, because you were just not well resourced. You're having to make up for the fact that you've got no energy over here and your body's looking for something. And so our brains get wired into this cravings loop, because your mitochondria and your body is just so starved for energy creation.